look at that. Kaylin, she's right next to them, and she's apparently turned on by that. I mean, I don't know how you're going to explain that to Cassandra, Kaylin, but
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to early Pleasantview, a custom neighborhood that starts out 10 years before vanilla Pleasantview. Now don't worry if this is your first time around on this channel, or if it's been a while since you watched a video, I'll throw in little explanations as we go along. Today we return to the Pleasant-Oldie household, except plot twist, this is editing me speaking because for some reason the audio on the last episode turned out really bad. I don't know what happened, but long story short, that's why I'm sort of redubbing this whole episode. I hope it won't be too awkward, and next time we're hopefully back to the usual format. So let's jump in. And here we are back at the lot, and as a reminder, that big house over there is where the Pleasants live, and the small house over at the side is where Herb and Carl Oldie live. Now, the first thing that demands our attention is the fact that last time when we played the Langorax, Daniel had a romantic interaction with Bella right in front of Mary Sue, and as we can see, Mary Sue is now angry and she no longer wants to sleep in the same bed as Daniel, and also her relationships panel confirms she's really angry. And the first thing that Mary Sue does in her anger is sit down at the chess table to play some chess. I mean, we all have our different ways of dealing with our anger. And now right here, Mary Sue is sitting down on the treadmill. I mean, she's doing something physical. It's not beating up her husband, but it's something. And who knows, maybe she's planning her revenge while she's sitting on that treadmill. It's currently 4 a.m. and both Daniel and Mary Sue will have to go to work today. And Mary Sue is seriously hungry now. She needs to eat. And Daniel over here tried to feed Miss Snuggles a treat, but she didn't want it. She was like, "You're a cheater, I can smell it, and I don't want your filthy treat." Said no dog ever. Here comes Coral with some French toast for breakfast. She's been making breakfast for her family all her adult life, so that's something she's used to, and Daniel just gets to benefit from that, I guess. And here's Mr. Fluffball, our cat, who's feeling excellent. Herb Oldie is under the shower and he's getting ready for the day. And the girls are still sleeping, except now they are waking up. And they both want to do their homework because they're nerds, I guess. And let's see where their homework is. There's Lilith's over here. And on that desk is Angela's. So go girls, do your homework like the nerds you are. Here's Mr. Fluffball and Miss Snuggles being cute and playing. Always good to have that. And Angela is almost done with her homework. Only 1 hour until the school bus arrives. Meanwhile, Lilith is done with one of her homeworks. I know that's not correct grammar, but you know what I mean. And she really needs to hurry if she wants to get done. Then here in the background, we have a pottery wheel. And the interesting thing about that is that Mary Sue's hobby used to be pottery, which she had to give up because of her career. But the creator of this neighborhood put that pottery wheel there because it's just full of awesome little details like that. And that's why I love this neighborhood so much. So now the school bus is here and Mary Sue's carpool as well. And also Daniel needs to get his butt into his car to drive to work. And it seems like Lilith got her homework done after all. So well done, Lilith. Off you go, all of you. And there's Mortimer Goth. He's stealing our newspaper because Daniel kissed his wife and he's pissed about that. Anyway, the next thing that we have to talk about is that
Oldie had a date with Zelda May last time, which counts as cheating. So now we have to decide whether he's going to confess about that to Coral or not. And while Herb is sitting on the toilet, we're going to decide his fate by using our trusty wheel. There's a 90% chance for no confession, 10% chance for a confession. Let's go! And the wheel landed on no confession. Thank you, wheel. So Herb is now going to go about his day as if he had not cheated on his wife, even though he now wants to flirt with Coral and dance with her. So like I already said last episode, Herb definitely feels bad about cheating. And you know what? He really should. And here's Sullivan Cocker again, our mate. Meanwhile, Herb is being romantic with Coral and she has no idea about the truth. Anyway, Coral now wants to make friends with Kaylin Langerak, or Kaylin Goth, I should say, since she got married. And I think Coral met her when Kaylin and Cassandra were shopping for wedding dresses. Anyway, Kaylin wants to come over, that's cool. And speaking of cool things, how about Coral gets a tiramisu from the fridge? Except she's not supposed to eat it yet, it's supposed to be for your guest, who is already here. So let's say hello to Kaylin Goth, now married to Cassandra. Of course, the first thing Kaylin does is pay Coral a compliment. Let's give that compliment back. And excuse me, Sullivan, please don't throw away our tiramisu. We're supposed to eat that. Except Kaylin doesn't seem interested in eating. She just wants to sit down and watch some TV, apparently. Well, that's not so bad. I'm sure the kids will eat the tiramisu if Kaylin doesn't want it. Time for more friendly interactions between Kaylin and Coral, and they're already friends, and now Coral wants to be best friends with Kaylin. So Daniel has come home from work and he has brought Darlene Dreamer with him, the clone version to be exact. And Lilith has gotten an A+ at school. Awesome, Lilith. It's one of the few times Daniel is paying attention to her. And by the way, Angela already has an A+ at school, so these two can now sit down and play with each other and the dollhouse. And these two aren't friends yet, but they don't hate each other, so anything is still possible for these two, actually. Daniel wants to be friends with Darlene, but in order to make that happen, I'd have to find where she is, actually. Also, Herb has gotten his wish and learned couples counseling, so well done, Herb. Oh, Darlene has given us a product, and it's a computer. Interesting. Thanks for that, Darlene. Anyway, in order to make friends with Darlene, Daniel is gossiping about his own daughter because he's just a scumbag. So anyway, Daniel now wants to flirt with Darlene. I mean, who would have seen that coming? And Daniel wants to flirt with her, even though he and Darlene have negative chemistry. But you know Daniel, if it has legs and moves, he wants to F it. And there we have a crush already. Daniel wants to kiss Darlene and make out with her. And whoops, he stepped on her foot. Anyway, does she want a kiss? Yes, she does. Oh look, Mary Sue has returned home and she is not reacting at all towards what Daniel is doing with Darlene. Because Mary Sue is no longer in love with Daniel and she has basically already checked out of this relationship. So I think this is officially a fake marriage now. Lilith is playing with Miss Snuggles and Darlene is enjoying some of the tiramisu because she has great manners, I guess. Meanwhile, Oldie has already gone to bed and Coral is really tired as well, so she's now off to bed as well. Darlene continues her display of no shame at all and she's swimming in the pool. And Kaylin wants to jump in as well, but she's too scared. Aww. Now Daniel is just doing Daniel things and he's getting ready for a woohoo with Darlene Dreamer. Meanwhile, Mary Sue's sleeping, not caring at all. But look at that! Kaylin, she's right next to them and she's apparently turned on by that. I mean, I don't know how you're going to explain that to Cassandra, Kaylin, but so Daniel got his wish. He got to have another woohoo with his now third affair. So I don't know. Congratulations, Daniel, I guess. He's saying goodbye to Darlene now, and he's going to have some ramen because he's really hungry from all that cheating. But at least he's happy. He's in platinum aspiration. Okay, now we need to talk about a little change that I've wanted to make for a while now. And if you remember when this neighborhood started, Parker Langerak had a crush on Daniel. But according to ACR, Daniel is straight. So that crush would never have had a chance to be returned. And I thought, honestly, that kind of feels like a small mistake. And also I had the thoughts that it would actually be very much in character for Daniel to be bi, for one thing, and also the only other bi guy in this neighborhood as of now is Michael Batchelor. So we could do with a bit more representation, and that is why I have decided that by the powers bestowed upon me by ACR, Daniel Pleasant, from this day forth, you are bi. And I think you can already tell where I want to take this story, because Parker is still really, really lonely. He hasn't even had his first kiss yet, even though he's a romance sim. And I mean, Daniel is, well, Daniel. So we're going to see if we get to spend some time with Parker today. Also, Daniel is kind of forced to sleep on the couch because Mary Sue would not have him in her bed. And I think we're going to have to change the bed situation in this room eventually for these two. Oh, look at Lilith. She's already awake in the middle of the night and she is doing her homework because I guess she's a nerd. So anyway, Herb has woken up as well and he can repair that shower over there, which is broken, by the way. Mary Sue is waking up at 4 a.m. pretty much in the middle of the night, and Herb has found his one true hobby, which is tinkering. So anyway, Mary Sue still wants to get promoted. She's still a campaign worker at level 1. She seems to be a little cursed, but let's hope that she will break that curse eventually. Coral is now awake as well, and of course the first thing Coral does this morning again is to make breakfast for the family. And meanwhile, Lilith and Angela are sitting at their crafts table over here having fun. They do not have to go to school today because it's Saturday. And Lilith is playing with Mr. Fluffball. Aww. Time for a delicious pancake breakfast. And Lilith and Coral have become best friends, so that's really cute. And Daniel now needs to get up and leave for work, even though he is not full of energy and he's really hungry. And Mary Sue also has to leave and wish her luck for that promotion. Because let's just hope that she's not that terrible at her job that she never ever gets promoted. Lilith and Miss Snuggles are playing and being cute, and Mortimer Goth has stolen our newspaper yet again. Anyway, Coral wants to get her gold talent badge in sewing, so she's going to work on that. Oh good grief, look at how horrible our flowers are looking, and by horrible, I mean dead. So I think Herb can go call a gardener. And we have roaches, isn't that nice? And we have a pop-up as well. Daniel is feeling flu-like symptoms before the game, and he has the choice between some conventional pills and some herb medicine. and I think Daniel would choose the conventional pills. And that was the right decision, and it got Daniel 3 charisma points, so that's pretty awesome. Angela is stepping on the roaches with her bare feet, ew. But guess who we have to thank for those roaches? It's Mortimer, who kicked over our trash can. So Daniel has returned home, he can take a shower, and look, it's our exterminator in the best car ever. Anyway, Daniel needs to get ready because he's going to ask a certain someone for a date later on. Oh, good grief, look at that garden. That's pretty dead. Anyway, Daniel can go ask Parker on a date now. Daniel is taking his car, and now he's already at Rodney's hideout for his date with Parker. And Daniel wants to fall in love with Parker, and even better, Parker also wants to fall in love with Daniel. So I think we can all agree that these two have something special, and by something special, I mean they have 3 bolts with each other. That's pretty amazing. And they're already best friends. Awesome. And here comes the first kiss between Parker and Daniel. And look at the sky. It's rainy and gray, and now, the moment they kiss, it pretty much turned back into blue and the rain stopped. I think that's a sign. I think that was a very magical kiss. So I think I found my new OTP here. And already Daniel and Parker have fallen in love with each other, and Daniel is so happy that he has to jump right into Parker's arms. They now both want to make out, of course. They're going to do that in front of an audience, and that guy over there, Craig Gray is his name, I think, he seems really into it. And there's Darlene Dreamer and her husband, and they are having a woohoo in public, so their marriage seems to be going really well. Good for them, good for them. But speaking of woohoo, that is what Daniel now wants to do with Parker. And of course, they're going to go to that photo booth over there. Like, that photo booth has seen some shit. Man, this is Parker's first date with his first kiss and his first woohoo. I mean, he's a romance sim, so he probably doesn't mind that at all, but it's interesting. Well, guess what? Both Daniel and Parker want to have another woohoo. And this time they wanted to be in the car, which by the way is the same car where Daniel had a woohoo with Zelda May, who is Parker's aunt. So that car is also on the list of objects that have seen some shit. Anyway, they got done with that, and they are now having a dream date, so I'm ending it here. And of course, it was the best thing ever. Now Daniel can go back home. And the truth is already visible in this family picture, and Daniel and Mary Sue no longer look happily married. Sullivan Cocker, our maid, sadly had to leave early because our house was just too dirty, I guess. And I'm predicting that the same is going to happen with our gardener lady, that she's just going to be like, this is too messy and too ugly, and I have to leave. Which is something I hear a lot as well. Only 2 days left until Angela's and Lilith's birthdays, and that means that they are going to become teenagers in the next round, so look forward to that. And Mary Sue has come home and she finally got promoted. She's now an intern at level 2 and a stinky one at that, so go take a shower, Mary Sue. You earned it. I'm honestly really surprised that Mary Sue has not decided to beat up Daniel yet. Like, she's still pretty mad at him. And honestly, I was ready to entertain you guys with some violence. Anyway, like I mentioned earlier, we should now probably take care of the bed situation, because Mary Sue and Daniel no longer want to sleep in the same bed. And look at that, our gardener is leaving early, just like I predicted it. Anyway, here's our new bed situation. They now have 2 separate beds, and let's see how long that's going to last, and if it's going to last, to be honest. Like, honestly, I can't imagine Mary Sue just accepting getting cheated on. So maybe she's planning her revenge, or maybe she's just using Danielle's last name to get further ahead in her career. But if that's the case, that doesn't seem to have worked so far. So I don't know, Mary Sue. Maybe get a different plan. Maybe choose revenge after all. While Herb and Carl have already gone to bed, Angela is still feeding the pets and she actually should go to bed as well. Meanwhile, Lilith seems to be more preoccupied with baking a midnight muffin, I guess. Let's see how that's going to turn out, because Lilith has 0 cooking skills and, well, that was a failure. That muffin looks pretty burnt. But you know what? That's just foreshadowing. That black burnt muffin is turning her into a goth girl now. It's magic. Daniel has come home to play with the cat just as Lilith is going to bed, which is something Daniel is now doing as well. So, yeah, that marks the end of this episode. I was honestly ready to serve you guys with a divorce and make it really dramatic, but now all we have to deal with is a sham of a marriage, which I guess is actually pretty accurate to the canon version, so there's that, I guess. Next up is the Dreamer family, an actually happy family, not a fake happy family, and I hope I'll see you there. Until then, we here at Tea and Cinnamon wish you a wonderful day. We encourage you to take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye!